Good evening. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with the Sunshine Law. Notice was published on December 13th, 2018 in the local source, the official newspaper of the Township of Springfield for the year 2019, and posted in the Annex Building on December 14th, 2018. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call, Jen?
Mr. Stephen Hochstein.
Here.
Ms. Jody Cohen.
Here.
Mr. Daniel Polchak is absent. Mr. Mark Cunningham.
Here.
Mr. David Schnur is absent. Ms. Cara Greco is absent. Mr. Harris Bloffer.
Present.
And Chairman Anthony Fonseca is absent. Vice Chair Greg Roth.
Present.
Okay, Vice Chair Greg Roth will be acting as chair for this evening for the record.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I get approval of the minutes for September's meeting, please?
I'll approve the minute. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. We have 4 resolutions, approval of resolutions. The first one is application 2019-16, Brian and Jessica Brandell, 4 Clara Court, block 1105, lot 13-.04, for lot coverage variance for a patio. Can I get a,
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Schnur? Oh, he's not here, I'm sorry. I guess Chairman Roth?
yes?
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Second one is application 2019-17, Carla and Kevin Gilman, 228 Summit Road, block 3209, lot 10, lot coverage variance for patio. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make a motion to.
Oh, sorry, report.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Chairman Roth?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, third one.
Mr. Chairman, just for a
Sure.
second. Just note for the secretary, I'm looking, there's typographical error in the typed version. It says 2019-10. Just make sure that.
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
It should be 17?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, third one, application 2019-19, Angela and Lawrence Molinelli, 422 Rolling Rock Road, block 3306, lot 2, rear yard variance for a deck.
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
And Chairman Roth?
Yes.
Motion.
Last one, application 2019-18, Todd Costa and Catherine Stratakis, 45 Colonial Terrace, block 903, lot 6, front yard and lot coverage variance for an addition. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll motion to approve. Sorry.
Jody gets it. Mark second.
Aye.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
And Chairman Roth?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so the first application tonight is application 2019-11, Zachary Estrin, 57 Brook Street, block 700, lot 6, a rear yard variance for a deck.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth? State your name and address for the record.
77 Slope Drive, Short Hills, New Jersey.
Speak into the mic for me, please.
Zachary Estrin, Short Hills, 77 Slope Drive, Short Hills, New Jersey, 07078.
Great, thanks. If you want to move it closer to you, make your life easier, that'd be great. Yeah, what would you like, yes, to explain what you're doing.
When I originally purchased the property, it looked like the fire damage was contained to one area. As I started to address the damage, I discovered it was a lot worse than I thought. My intentions were to improve the image of the home as well as the functionality. And without increasing square footage or height, I used the roof overhang off the kitchen as a deck to create an exit for the first floor, while keeping the overhang for the basement. I created functionality and safety for the first floor. That's my intention.
So basically, the deck wasn't there.
deck wasn't there, that was just an existing roof line.
Okay.
Maybe the same height and, treated nicely for the first floor rear exit.
So the deck is built over an existing area that was, space that was originally there?
It was, yeah, it's all the same as we renovated the house. It was a roof line that would just cover the entrance to the basement of the house. And that's all the roof line was there for, and that's still covering up the entrance to the basement. It's just, it also now acts as a exit from the first floor.
So it's the same size that it was
Same
in the
size,
past?
did not increase. Same height as well.
So what, we need a side yard variance?
It's in
Or the rear yard?
Rear yard setback.
Right here. There's the back.
Oh, the rear,
And-
okay.
And
so-
behind you is a stream,
the
so there's
stream.
no neighbors behind you that,
Correct.
Does anybody have any questions? From the board? Do our professionals have any questions?
I just noticed that on the submitted forms, that reference the rear yard setback, the required is 30 feet, it says the existing is 31. Okay, it's 31, but the proposed is, the reason for the variance, it's now 26, 25.
Yes.
So I just, it was just work out.
Yeah, I was looking for, I couldn't find it. Thank you, appreciate that. Anything else from anybody? Is there anybody from the public who's here for this application? Any questions, anybody? Okay, so I'd like to ask for an approval for application 2019-11 Zachary Estrin, 57 Brook Street, Block 700, Lot 6, for rear yard variance for a deck.
move to approve. I'll second.
Mr. Locker?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Chairman Roth?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, the next application is application 2019-21, Coria and Erica Falcon, 62 Irwin Street, Block 3402, Lot 11, front yard, rear yard variances, and lot area variances for an addition.
Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
State your full name and address, please.
Corey Falcon, 62 Irwin Street, Springfield, New Jersey. What we're looking to do is, we're getting a variance for the existing house. The setbacks, I'm not changing. What we're looking to do is build up above the split level first floor, the kitchen, to build another bedroom and office. I often work from home. We have a child. My in-laws are going to live in Florida and come stay with us over the summer, so we need a little bit more room. And that's what I'm here for.
Does anybody on the board have any questions of this applicant? I mean, to ask you a question, in looking at what he was asking for, it was curious to me that why do they need the variance for the pre-existing conformings? The only one I see is the lot coverage.
Because they're building up,
Okay.
theoretically, that's
They're expanding the
increasing the encroachment onto the setback.
Okay,
It's not increasing the distance, but it's increasing the plane, so that's considered an expansion.
So it's a vertical intensification of a non-conforming condition.
Yeah, because it's already a non-conforming condition, so therefore.
Correct. It's an
in order to-
expansion of non-conforming.
Yeah, in order to,
I have a question.
Yeah.
The angled part that you're doing,
Yeah,
that area there, there currently is no construction there, so you're filling in that space?
right, we're going to fill in the corner that they had there.
So that's.
They put
so
it as a
that's-
storage area.
So that's going to be a new foundation? Is it going to be just, what's going to be?
It's going to be a new foundation, and they're just going to connect it with the existing area, just to kind of cut the kitchen to the back line of that existing space. And then the stairs will come down from there into the back.
I don't think there's any issue with increasing coverage on there, right? On the variance.
Lot coverage, yes.
But it's within what's
It's
allowed,
actually,
right?
yeah, it's within, it's actually getting, yes, it's within allowed.
Okay. That was my only question.
Everything that you're doing, it's going to be uniform. Are you going to replace all
We're
the
re-
lower
New siding, new roof, everything, new windows, yeah,
leaders and gutters, everything?
everything.
And you're going to pipe everything the way it's been piped now, so the water's going to run off the same way it's done currently?
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board?
No. I have none. I mean, it's undersized to begin with. The only way
Yeah.
that you can go is up. So
Yeah, I agree.
for that reason alone, I mean, there's your hardship.
All right, well, then I'd like to ask for a approval of application 2019-21, Corey and Erica Falcon, 62 Irwin Street, block 3402, lot 11, front yard, rear yard variances, and lot area variance for an addition.
Move to approve. I'll second.
Mr. Laufer?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Chairman Roth?
Yes, and I forgot to ask, was there anybody here from the public who wanted to speak on this? Just to make sure. Okay,
Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so our last application for tonight is application 2019-20, New Jersey Table Tennis and Badminton Sports Center LLC, 10 Fadum Road, block 3703, lot 3, preliminary and final site plan, use variance and bulk variance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ira Horelick appearing on behalf of the applicant, which is NJT BSC LLC, which stands for New Jersey Table Tennis and Badminton Sports Center. And NJTTC is the New Jersey Table Tennis Club, which is the group that utilizes the space in conjunction with the applicant.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make that clear. As was stated, this is for preliminary and final site plan approval with variances, use variance, parking variance. The non-conforming pre-existing conditions are remaining the same, none of them are being touched, none of the exterior of the building is being addressed at all, other than the signage which will be allowable pursuant to ordinance. So this is as was stated in the review letters, this is a building in the I-40 zone. It is subdivided into 5 units. We are looking at Unit 5 for our purposes, which is going to be a table tennis club. The only thing that's going to be in there is table tennis. I know that the review letters thought badminton as well, but nothing in the submitted papers indicated that it's not going to be badminton. It's only table tennis. There will be testimony here this evening that will go into the more detail on the tables, with the hours of operation, et cetera, et cetera. But the points I want to make just at the beginning are the fact that we believe that this recreational use, table tennis, is something that will work well with this building because the hours of operation of the table tennis club are the off-peak hours of the businesses, namely the late afternoon, evenings, and weekends. And we will also be submitting to you pictures of the parking lot, and there will be testimony regarding the fact that there's a lot of open parking spaces as well as off parking on the street that will accommodate the minimal use that's being put forth by this proposed applicant. And when I say minimal use, it's very simple. There would be a maximum of 12 ping-pong tables in the facility. They play 2 people to a table. So there'd be 24 people at its height. But they don't normally get that, and they don't like to have all the tables used at one time if they can avoid it. They have scheduling that they do. They have leagues, they come in the evening, so people know when they're supposed to be there on what nights, so there's not confusion. You're not going to have people lined up outside the door waiting to get a ping pong table. I also want to point out that because our ordinances do not have recreational use anywhere cited in them, we had to pick something that was the closest that we could get to for purposes of explaining the parking requirements and what we're seeking. We picked a health club, which was the closest kind of club that we could get to. But our professional will testify to the fact that this is a totally different type of use. You get far more employees, patrons, use time all day long when people have the health club than you do with this ping pong. And that will be brought out in testimony. The other thing I would like to point out with regard to the use of that is we really went conservative on that. So we actually picked a use that was the closest that would have the most required parking spaces. So we just want to make that clear, but again, that will be brought out in the testimony. The idea that this will work well in the building is the fact that aside from the off-peak hours, ping pong doesn't make a lot of noise. We do not have a lot of people in and out. There will be testimony about the fact that at best there's one tournament a month on Sunday when the other businesses are not in use. So that will be brought to your attention. And with that having been said, I want to let you know that there will be testimony from 2 people this evening. One is the applicant, and on behalf of the applicant, Jack Lamb, and the other will be Jonathan Estrani, who is from Stonefield Engineering. So what I'd like to do is just first call up Mr. Lamb so he can give you the specifics of the hours of operation, the people, etc. And with regard to employees, I'll just note that it was in my papers, but there are only 2 coaches that are full-time, 1 part-time, and the 2 coaches always carpool together. So even there, you've got 1 less car. But Mr. Lamb, I'd like you to come up. We're going to swear you in, and then I'll ask you certain questions.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yeah, I do.
Could you please state your full name, spell your last name,
Jack Lamb, last name L-A-M.
and your address, please?
My address, my current address, 26 Brookwood Terrace, Morris Place, New Jersey, 07952.
Thank you.
I'm a trustee of the New Jersey Table Tennis Club. So tonight I'm going to talk about the joint venture on behalf of Mr. Jeff Downey, who is the LATVSC.
Yeah. So Mr. Lamb, very clearly, just tell the board, what are the hours of operation that will go on in this facility?
Technically, I'm sorry.
Just to me, yes, thank you.
Okay. Hearing better?
Yeah, they're taking,
Okay. Technically, we open at 12 noon, but in reality, our member won't get there until 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So 12 noon is because you have office space, so
Right.
you do administrative stuff.
That's correct.
And that would just be 1 or 2 people, is that right?
Right.
Okay.
So,
So now tell us from 4 o'clock, that's Monday through Friday?
yes.
Okay. What happens at 4?
4 o'clock, mostly we probably have a few kids, maximum up to 8. After they finish school, they come there to learn a little practice on how to play ping pong, table tennis. After 7:30, around 8 o'clock, that's where the majority of the members that show up to play for the night. That would take approximately 2.5 hours. The whole event, the whole night probably will join around 10:30.
Okay, and let me go back to the kids.
Sure.
Is that drop off for the kids?
Yes.
Okay, and it's not a school you run, they just come there to practice table tennis? Because they're
Right.
really members of the club.
Yeah, they are the member of the club. They come over to practice. They take some lessons from the coaches. So for an hour or 2.
or they just play?
Play ping pong, right.
Now, how do you schedule the adults? Are there certain nights that you said, are there leagues, are there certain nights that certain adults come so that there's no confusion about how many people might be on any given day?
We do have leagues on Monday and Thursday. The other nights and the group plays depends on people's the members' play schedule. The top normally would let the members know that which night would fit into their play schedule better, so they can allocate it each night. And we have approximately 20 people, maximum up to 25 people a night. So kind of have been turned out pretty well in that way. So some people come to play Monday for a league. So some people come on a Wednesday, Friday for open play.
Okay. And now, tell us about the weekends. What happens on the weekends? What are the hours of operation?
Weekend-wise, Saturday, we started around noon. We have a practice session all the way to the evening on that one on Saturday. Sunday, we pretty much kind of have empty, so Sunday pretty much is a down day. The coach also have their day off, weekend, one day off. Then some once a month tournament, it happens once a month. So on a Sunday, it starts 11 o'clock to around 5 p.m.
Okay, and when you have a tournament, what's the most amount of people you typically see at the facility?
I would say around 25 to 30 max one tournament.
And your tournaments are only on the weekend?
Only on Sunday.
Okay. And just going back for a moment, because in our papers, when we were figuring out what the hours are on the weekend, we had indicated that sometimes you start as early as 10:30. So is that accurate? Sometimes there are kids or adults that come in the earlier hours?
On weekend?
Only the weekend, yeah.
Yes. On the Saturday's training session, sometimes they, if they have enough people, they will start them early.
And for clarification, in the planner's review letter, there was a question as to whether we wanted to mean 6 a.m. or p.m. to 11 p.m. It's p.m. It's not a.m. on any of those days. Okay. So, Mr. Lamb, let me ask you this question. The facility itself, what changes do you need to make to it in order for you to have your table tennis club there?
What?
Are you doing changes? Are you doing anything to the structure of the building?
No. At this point, we don't plan to do any changes on the structure of the building. We only need to move in the tables and put on the portable barriers that's stopping the ball from flying all over the places. Maybe add a little more lights. That would be pretty much the end of it.
And just so they know what these portable barriers are, so they don't think it's anything built into the floor or anything. How high is it?
2 and
And
less
what's
than
it?
2.
It's made out of plastic?
Yes.
It's just a very light, 3 pounds is what I believe I read. All right. Is there anything else that you want to let the board know about? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. How long has the New Jersey Table Tennis Club been in existence?
New Jersey Table Tennis Club is a non-profit organization. It's one of the oldest one in the country. Has been for over 80 years so far. For the past 40 plus years, we have been in Westfield.
I've been there.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Thanks. I hope you enjoy it.
And the reason why you're moving from Westfield to Springfield is because
Unfortunately.
they're going to be tearing down the building.
Right, unfortunately, the building was sold, so they are going to tear the whole building down, so we need to find a new place. So basically, we found this particular location. For the past 80 plus years, eventually the way the operation had been changed. We used to run 100% by volunteers, but now this kind of model is a little difficult to survive. So we team up with New Jersey Table Tennis Badminton Plus Center. So they become our new operation center partner. So they're going to run this new facility for us. So all the people that play there are our members, so kind of work together. So
questions for Mr. Lane?
If you want to know more about it, I can talk the whole night.
Do I need to ask questions of this gentleman or of the,
No, he's going to speak on behalf of both of them.
okay, are you guys going to have any parties, outside parties
Oh, no,
there?
that was asked. There are no, well, we just, there are no party rentals.
So it's not being rented to the public at all? It's members only?
Right.
So if somebody, like, if I wanted to come there and pay to play, I couldn't go there? There's no, it's only for members?
No, but we do offer like a one-day pass. If you want to stop by anytime, just give us a call. You're more than happy to.
Well, I'm not soliciting
But
to
then
go
you-
there,
yes.
I was just wondering, how does it work?
Yeah, it's
Is
open
it-
to the public, so everybody is welcome.
You can become a member, or you can have this pass to play for a day paid.
Right. The club itself has a very long history, as I said, that we have groomed a lot of several national champions and Olympians. It's one of the clubs that have a lot of history on it.
Yeah, they have an Olympian. Do you have some children thinking they're going to make it to the Olympics?
Well,
now? Actually, ping pong
Right,
club.
the current US team members, also from our club, the girl, Amy Wan, if you go to the USA TV site, you see her pictures. Right.
So,
Yeah.
when somebody books, let's say 8 o'clock, and then are they, or 7 o'clock, whatever time, do they have it for the night, or does somebody else come in an hour later or 2 hours later? How does that work?
You mean how long the people can?
Like, does somebody go and book the table for the evening, or is it on an hourly basis, or how does that work?
You can do both. You can rent a table by an hour to serve with a certain amount of payment, like $20 an hour for a table is dedicated for you, or you could pay $10 so you could play whole night yourself. Of course, you need to get a partner, right?
Sure.
So you would be welcome to play with other members. So there's no restriction how you play. You can
The reason
play
I,
without- yeah.
the reason I ask is if somebody is playing from 8 to 9, and somebody's gonna be playing from 9 to 10, I imagine there's some overlap of people that are gonna be using the facility, of people that are gonna be going and coming. So it's,
Well, it's not open to the public yet, sir. When it's not open to the
so,
public.
Yeah, Mr. Cummings, our member.
so, all right,
When that's a member
so
of the
that's one of my questions. And when there's spectators there to watch these tournaments, how many is there a lot of people there to watch, or?
I think you already testified that in total there's 30 at one of these tournaments.
And then I have another question. Are these only singles, like 1 against 1, or you play 2 against 2? Like, how does, I don't know about ping pong.
The game itself, singles, the one of the most important, way to play, yes. But we do have doubles, men against men, women against women, or mixed teams. All right, that's another very exciting one.
So the reason I ask is potentially you could have 4 people per table using this facility. If there's doubles playing. Am I
Mr.
wrong?
Mayor, what he's asking is when you explained it to me, it's very rare that there'd be 4 people on a table. It's typically 2, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, most of the people would prefer to play singles.
Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out how many people are going to be using the facility. If you have 12 tables and there's 4 people playing doubles tournaments, I think there could be a lot of people there. I just was wondering how that works.
Yeah, but doubles are not very free.
It's not common.
Not common.
Plus, as he testified, this club's been in existence a very long time. They're accustomed to the norm of how many people and who's showing up on what nights, et cetera. Not that you can't go, just, it's a club. So
Right.
they have their regular.
The reason I'm asking is obviously the parking is where the issues are, so I'll just,
I don't have any other questions.
I had one question. During tournaments, typically how many tables are used during tournaments at any given moment? Do you use all 12?
For playing matches wise, okay, it probably lose 7 or 8 at a time. We still have several extra tables for the people to warm up. So, they are not suitable for real big tournament matches.
I have a question just regarding the tournaments. Are there spectators there at these tournaments? When you said there's about 25 people, is that the participants in the tournament? Or when you say there's about 25 people that would be at a tournament? And if-
Will be some spectators,
Yeah.
but not that much, though.
So, Mr. Lamb,
Most of the players are kids.
Right.
The parents, of course, will come.
Yeah,
know,
yeah, no.
Yeah. So, yes, you're correct. You will have some.
right, but when you, let's clarify that testimony. When you said, when I asked you the question, when there's a tournament, how many people are typically at the facility, you said 30. That includes players and spectators, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't sure whether there's 30 participants in the tournament, and then you figured, that obviously, there's going to be people there that want to watch a competitive tournament, so,
And again, that's only on a Sunday.
Right.
On the other businesses are.
yeah.
Any? Jen, good? Anybody from the public have any questions for this?
Good evening, I'm Keith Beeblberg. I am the longtime attorney for CIC Corporation, which...
I'm sorry, can you just give your address?
Sure, 374 Milburn Avenue in Milburn. CIC Corporation owns the close-by property.
I'm sorry, are you testifying? You're going to ask a question?
I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
I'm
This
going
one.
to tell you who I'm asking it on behalf of. CIC Corporation, which owns the nearby property that houses the Tesla facility. So my question is, what assurances could we be given? Because we're not looking to object, we're just looking for some assurances. What assurances can we be given that there's not going to be an overflow whereby people will be parking in the Tesla lot, frankly, at any time? Tesla has fairly long hours, but even if they weren't there, we wouldn't want parking to take place there, overflow. So if you give us, I'm wondering if you can give us some kind of assurance that that won't be a problem.
We're not foreseeing anything like that.
Yeah.
As Mr. Everett said, there are plenty of parking spots in the property of 10 Fathom Road, okay? One side on the other side, and also a lot on the streets. So we don't plan to park on any other business parking lot at all. And we don't have that many cars parking.
Yeah, I think the gentleman is answering. In other words, it's anticipated that the parking spaces you're going to receive if this is approved will more than satisfy any parking needs.
That is correct. But also, there are 4 other tenants in the building. I don't think any of them are using Tesla lot. There would be no reason why this one would.
I think that's helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public have any questions for this witness? Okay.
Okay, next, I would like to call Jonathan Strani. He is a professional licensed engineer and planner, and he is from Stonefield Engineering. Mr. Bergen, did you want to qualify?
First of all, state your full name, spell your last name.
Sure. For the record, my name is Jonathan Estrani. That's Istranii. I'm a principal with Stonefield Engineering Design, located at 92 Park Avenue in Rutherford, New Jersey.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I did.
Also know the chairman to qualify.
Sure.
So for
Tell us a little bit about
the
yourself.
benefit of the board, I hold a Bachelor's of Science from Drexel University in Civil Engineering. I'm a duly licensed both professional engineer and professional planner in the state of New Jersey. Both licenses are in good standing. I've testified before numerous boards throughout the state of New Jersey, including this board as well. It was several years ago for a temple application, but I was accepted as an expert.
And your license is in effect currently?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
So, Mr. Stone, if you would kindly explain to the board, this facility from your engineering hat at this point, and then obviously we're going to include your planner hat.
Certainly. I have two exhibits for the board this evening. The first one is an aerial exhibit. I can mark it Exhibit A1.
Yeah, and any exhibit that was not submitted with the application, then please mark it. This could be A1.
Sure. So the aerial exhibit would be A1. I also have a photograph exhibit of the site showing various times the parking capacity, and we'll mark that Exhibit A2. I have copies with the attorney that can be handed out for the board's reference.
There will be an A3, which is the parking lot. A1 is your area. Oh, okay, so A2 is the parking. Do you want me to give them directly?
Sure, please, thank you.
So while those are being handed out, I'll simply just outline the site location for the board's reference. It is located at the northwest corner of Tatham Road and Diamond Road. It's located in red on Exhibit A1. The board's reference north is to the left of the page. Route 22 is also located north or to the left of the page as well, and that's where you'll find Staples, casualty portion of the Tesla facility just north of the subject property that was alluded to earlier. The board's reference is to the top of the page above the subject property. In addition to that, there's a car dealership. Autoland is located to the west of the property. To the south is Diamond Road and a window and door manufacturing. And to the east is a painter's. Generally speaking, the site area is very industrial. There's no residential uses nearby. The site is an existing multi-tenant industrial building. Access to the site is provided through 4 points. There are 2 full movement driveways on Chatham Road, and there are 2 full movement driveways on Diamond Road. In regards to on-street parking, it should be noted that there is parking on-street on Chatham Road beyond the intersection with Diamond Road. So from the intersection towards the right of the sheet on Exhibit A1, all of that is on-street parking that's allowed. Additionally, it's not specifically signed. There's no parking on the southerly side, the far side of Diamond Road, but there is parking allowed on the northern side of Diamond Road, which is the frontage along which the property sits. So on-street parking allowed on our frontage for Diamond Road, it's not across on the far side of the street. So this was a topic that was referenced by the professionals. For on-site parking, there's a total of 44 parking spaces. I'm going to refer to it as the northern and southern lots. There are 2 parking lots, one of which is adjacent to, I guess, Unit 5, which is where the applicant is proposing their table tennis, and the southern lot. So the northern lot, it's 16 standard spaces, 1 ADA space for a total of 17 spaces in that lot, and a total of 27 spaces in the southern lot, which is inclusive of 23 standard spaces, 2 parallel spaces, and 2 ADA spaces. So I think there was a discrepancy in the total number of parking spaces that was brought up by the board's professionals. Just want to clarify that it's not clearly shown on the plans that were submitted, but there is an additional parallel parking space adjacent to the one that's shown on the plans. So there are 2 parallel parking spaces in tandem, providing a total of 44 total parking spaces on site.
Where?
So on the submitted plans, I'm referring to sheet C2, the site plan.
Yes, looking at it.
So you'll see directly in front of Unit 2, there's a parallel parking space dimensioned as 9 feet by 23 feet long along the main entrance there. Just to the south of that, to the bottom.
Okay, there's another spot below that, okay.
It actually shows up on the aerial exhibit. I know it's far away from the board, but certainly feel free to walk up to it. You'll see it struck down.
The resulting aisle width it's still 24 feet?
So, we don't have the exact measurement, but it's generally about that. It's a very wide aisle at that point, it kind of falls to a point. For the board's reference, the first space that's eliminated is here, and then there is the walkway entrance to Unit 2, and then there's another parallel space immediately below that.
There's no problem with the cars behind there backing out, and, it looks big from here, but I'm just asking.
Right, again, those units have been operating for a while, the parking spaces have been there for a while.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, there are no issues.
A question on in the northwest lot.
Yes.
There was one space that appeared to be not the standard size. It seems to be shown shorter than the other one.
I'm not sure if you mentioned that, it's an existing parking lot. It was referenced earlier, but the applicant is not proposing any exterior improvements. The parking lot is the way that it is. It was striped out in that fashion, and they're simply looking to utilize those parking spaces that were previously approved.
So there's at least one spot for subcompacts only.
Is that the one that says like number 6 on it? That the one you're referring
It
to?
has the 6. It's the one adjacent to the parade, furthest to the left of the sheet.
Yes.
So it should be noted that, vehicle can overhang there, so your bumper can stick out. There's just landscaping on the other side. So I don't know how you want to refer to it. Very much should just be a standard parking space.
Mr. Stein, if I may, just, in 2012, there was a resolution that stands with this property when it was subdivided into 5 units. And the parking was one of the variances where 44 parking spaces were allowed through that resolution. And you reviewed that resolution, so that's consistent with this. And again, in 2014, this very unit 5 had an expansion use. So the parking was, again, before the board, and it's the same number of units. We in fact utilized the plan that was from that previous submission to see the number of parking spaces.
Great, but what were the uses?
No, we're not talking about having use, we're talking about having parking spaces up in the parking lot.
No, I understand that, but when the parking variances were granted, the uses, you're proposing a different use at this.
Yeah, he's gonna get to that testimony. There was clarification needed on whether there are 43 physical spaces in the lots or 44.
And there are 44.
Yes, that was all I was making reference to.
So in regards to 44 total parking spaces, based on the plans that we submitted, we were stating that 104 parking spaces are required. But just to break that down for the board's reference, for the proposed use here tonight, we did use the qualification of a health club. And that parking requirement is 1 space per 150 square feet. It's a very conservative analysis. The zoning ordinance doesn't really have a specific parking requirement for this type of use. So we went in very conservatively. It should be noted, like, it's very intense parking requirement. It's more so than you could see for office, which is 1 per 250, warehouse. Yes. So simply saying that the 8,400 approximate square feet of the applicant space would require 56 spaces. It's a very high demand that's not realistic of the operations that are being proposed here. So simply stated, there are 44 parking spaces on site. For the other tenants on site, which would utilize the parking lot during standard business hours, there would be, for zoning requirement, 48 spaces required. And then based on the operational testimony you just heard, you would see a peak parking or peak attendance at this facility of 30 people. And again, that's on Sundays, once a month. So that type of peak demand, when the other tenants, which I'll outline quickly, those other tenants don't have their business operational during that time on a Sunday. So there are 3 other tenants at this facility. The first is Hillrom, which occupies units 3 and 4. It's basically a medical distributor. They hold typical business hours, roughly 9 to 5. They do have some extended hours during the weekday and a little bit of activity on Saturday. The other 2 tenants, Panda Apparel and a duty-free distributor, they keep standard business hours, 9 to 5. They do not have any operations on the weekend. I'm actually referring now to Exhibit A2, which are the photos. You actually see photos of those lots, specifically referring to I believe it's the back of the 3rd page. We'll basically see that, a shot from Diamond Road of those 2 units. The parking lot is empty. I mean, just going quickly through the photographs for the board's reference. The first is of the northern parking lot where you're looking directly at Unit 5, the proposed tennis club facility. And you'll see Monday, 5:30 at September 23rd, there was one vehicle in that lot. So next photo shows taken the same day, but of the southern lot, you'll see that Hillrom, which is units 3 and 4 closest to Fathom Road, still has some of their vehicles there. And you can see that the other two uses have 1 or 2 vehicles. I would say the parking utilization rate for that lot is less than 50%. So there's really just a handful of vehicles, and honestly, most of them are just Hillcom's company vehicles that they keep there permanently. You'll see, again, the next photo, looking at Unit 5 at 7:30 at night, which is roughly as the adult players would show up for this table tennis facility. The northern lot is completely empty. And again, at 7:30, same thing, because Hillrom keeps extended hours on certain days. You can actually flip back and forth between the 7:30 and the 5:30 photo. None of those cars have moved, and again, most of them are Hillrom's company vehicles. The next photo shows the northern parking lot on a Sunday at noon, completely empty. Because, again, none of those businesses keep Sunday hours, which, again, would be the peak time for the demand of this facility when they hold tournaments. The next photo was the one I originally alluded to. It shows a photo of the southern lot from Diamond Road. Again, completely empty. There's a U-Haul vehicle staged at one of the loading docks, but not occupying a parking space. Again, parking lot completely empty. And then you'll see a photo same day. Again, Hillrom's company vehicles are utilizing the, I'm going to call it the eastern portion of that southern lot. Referring to the site plan, you'll see units 3 and 4 are at the intersection of the 2 roads, so Hillrom parks their vehicles as close to their unit as possible. So generally what that photo exhibit is trying to demonstrate is that when you would have a peak parking demand of this facility, there is no parking utilization for the other tenants. So in terms of this use, it meshes very, very well with the existing tenants on site, as well as the neighborhood as a whole. I mean, generally speaking, these are industrial uses, they hold standard business hours, so the activity that the tennis club would generate would be off-peak from those uses. So I'm going to go through the engineer's review letter. He had a handful of comments that I would like to address, unless the board has any questions.
Questions right now for this witness?
Wait till he's finished.
Yeah, I can go ahead and
Okay.
make the points on that. I'll get to the pen, and then I think it's appropriate.
Sure, certainly. So comment 1 of the, I'm referring to the Keller and Kilpatrick letter from October 15th. Comment 1, they're simply asking for a survey. I actually do have a full-size copy of the survey for the board's reference. We can certainly provide as many copies as needed during the compliance process. Comments 2 and 3, I believe, are clerical. They're really just clarifications. For the board engineer's reference, it is correct. The plan scale is 1 to 40. The scale bar shows 1 to 30. Just, well, that will be revised. Sheet or comment 4, again, this is clarifying the parking spaces, and again to confirm 44 parking spaces total on site. Comment 5, I believe I addressed in regards to on-street parking, but again, to clarify, there is on-street parking on Diamond Road immediately along our frontage, as well as on Fathom Road, past the intersection with Diamond Road, going further into the industrial complex. There's parking there. It extends for several hundred feet. I was just there tonight, for example, around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and there are 6 vehicles there parked for a length of several hundred feet. There's tons of off-street parking there during the times where this tennis club would be active.
Can you give a guesstimate of how many spots would be off-street if you were to just?
So I would estimate that there are about 4 to 5 immediately along our frontage on Diamond Road. There are 2 very large curb cuts there, which limit the parking there. And along Fathom, I mean, it continues for a very long distance, but I would say within a 1-block radius, you would have at least 20 to 30 on-street parking spaces. And again, those parking spaces, they are utilized during the industrial standard business hours, but at night when, after the close of standard business, it's basically empty.
Also, Also, I just want to add something to that because I asked the applicant this in advance, anticipating some of these questions. They have 2 full-time employees, 1 part-time. They're all willing to park on the street and not take up parking spaces in the lot or wherever. They'll move their car. They have no issue with that. And they carpool.
Going back to comment number 7, it's simply stating that testimony should be provided for operations. We believe we've addressed that. Comment 8, I believe was just stated. Comment 9, again to clarify, there's no, this is not a party rental facility. This is a club membership. You've heard that you can get a 1-day pass, but this is not, a walk-in place. It's not like a standard like billiards bar where you can kind of just walk in anytime you want and just get a table. They have a strict schedule. Obviously, if they can accommodate you, if you would like to have a day pass, that is possible. But it's simply not a place where you're going to have an endless stream of people coming in and out. It's very routine. It's scheduled by the applicant. And comment number 10, just to clarify again, no exterior improvements. So there's no changes to the site utilities, exterior lighting, solid waste disposal. I believe the applicant is going to install a sign. It will comply with all of the municipality's codes. They're not seeking any relief for that, but they will install a sign for their business as a purpose, for identification purposes.
There is already a freestanding sign that lists the tenants, so they would go there and each unit has a sign over their door. It would be the same.
So, onto planning. As stated by the attorney, the project site is located in the general industrial zone, the I-40 zone. We're here before you today to seek a D1 use variance because specifically a table tennis club is not specifically permitted in the zone. It should also be noted that it's not permitted in any zone in the township. So to that end, we're here to demonstrate that the site is particularly suitable for this use and to weigh the positive and negative criteria of having this use here at this existing facility. So in terms of particular suitability, again, just highlighting the fact that there are very minimal improvements necessary for this tenant to move in. It's a vacant industrial space that they're looking to move in. There's going to be almost no interior renovations. They're going to move in tables. They're going to set up the little plastic barriers. They're going to add additional overhead lighting. But there's an existing office like reception area that's not going to change. There are 2 ADA compliant bathrooms in there that are not going to change. The utilities servicing that unit are not going to change. The parking lot's not going to change. So the idea here is that this tenant coming in, understanding that a parking variance was granted at a prior application, that this tenant meshes well with the traffic operations of the other tenants. You heard from testimony that they'll have the 2 to 3 staff members show up around noon, which is halfway through the business day. They'll have students, kids come in somewhere between 3 to 4 o'clock and basically practice until 6 p.m. And that's typical to what you see with like parents dropping their kids off for like music class or karate. Like parents swoop in, drop the kids off, leave, and come back and pick them up at a later time. Then beyond that point, around 8 o'clock, you'll have the adults come in. And again, by that time, the businesses for the other tenants are closed or closing. Hill-Rom, again, parks some of their company vehicles, but the majority of the lot, as shown in the photos, is empty. So we're looking at a parking demand here, again, 44 parking spaces. And for this type of demand, even on the sessions where adults come in, which I believe is Monday and Thursday as testified to, you're looking at 20 people. And even if they were to all drive themselves, including the coaches or the staff who carpool, you would still have sufficient parking on site to satisfy that need. So because of that, we think this site is particularly suited for that. In regards to advancing the purposes of the MLUL, this certainly advances purpose G, which again is to provide sufficient space in appropriate locations for recreational uses, both public and private, to meet the needs of its citizens. As you heard from the applicant, they were at another facility. Unfortunately, it's closing down. Certainly the members there, would like to keep playing table tennis. They found a space. It works for them, certainly, based on the layout and the parking and everything else. They believe this is a good location for them. And certainly, should the board look favorably upon this application, would carry out the purpose of the zoning by providing residents of the community with a gathering space for this recreational use. So in regards to the negative criteria, more specifically the neighborhood impact and the public impact, we don't believe there is any. From the outside, from all external purposes, this building's going to look exactly the same. There'll be an extra sign hung up, but no exterior improvements are being proposed. Essentially, it's going to look the same. I just spoke to the impact with traffic, where the traffic operations of this use and the other uses, not only of this site, surrounding neighborhood, mesh very well together. It's a very good use of a shared parking setup. In terms of impairment to the zoning code or plan, again, we don't believe there is one. It should simply be stated that this type of use is not permitted or prohibited anywhere in the township. And certainly, per purpose G, there needs to be a location for these types of recreational uses, so we don't believe that is a detriment to the code. So I spoke a little bit to the D variances. There are a few C1 and the C2 parking variants. The C1 variants, hardship, again, they're all existing non-conforming conditions related to the building. The building's not changing. They're specifically outlined in your professional's letters, but for the record, the maximum building coverage, it's a maximum of 40% permitted, where 50.6% exists. Again, building's not being expanded, it's not being changed, it just is. Maximum lot coverage, maximum of 72% is permitted, where 77% exists. Again, they're not looking to do any exterior improvements, the parking lot's not being expanded, it's going to remain the same. Minimum rear yard setback, there's actually two per the planning letter, 50 feet required, where 12.1 feet and 26.6 feet exist. Again, building not changing. And then in regards to the flexible C2 variance, and in regards to the off-street parking, I believe that's subsumed within the use variance. I have provided testimony as to why we believe that the applicant is able to suitably operate their site, utilizing the parking that exists on site. And again, there's also overflow parking on street as well. So
in conclusion, as a planner, you believe that the applicant has met its negative and positive criteria, is that correct?
absolutely.
And you believe as a planner that this will not impair the purpose of the zone plan in Springfield, correct?
Yes,
And you believe as a planner that this will not have any substantial detriment to the public good?
correct.
So therefore, as a planner, you believe that this is consistent with our municipal land use law and would advance that purpose?
Absolutely.
I have no further questions.
You guys have any questions?
I have a couple of questions. So if somebody's parking on the other tenant's areas of the building during evening time, how do they go from one parking lot to the other? How do you propose they get there safely?
It's a bit fuzzy on this plan, but there's actually a sidewalk connecting the two lots. It's shown on sheet C2 as well, but if you look, there's a sidewalk from the ADA spaces that carry you to the parking lot on the other side. So, yeah, it's about a 5-foot sidewalk, and narrows a little bit to 3 feet, because there's a retaining wall, but it will carry you from one parking lot to the other without having to.
So they can go all the way around the building on the sidewalk and get,
Yes, so if you park anywhere in what I'm referring to as the southern lot, the front side, you can walk down the parking lot, there's an ADA aisle here, it provides access to the sidewalk, walk along the building, and then it will get you access to this parking lot, so you can walk down the aisle,
and you don't have any concerns about safety of pedestrians and walking to the parking lots and that stuff?
How is the lighting on that strip?
lighting for the parking lot.
No, for the sidewalk.
I can't speak to that. I don't know what lights are out there today for that sidewalk. Trying to recognize it tonight.
Because people, they're going to be using the site at night, and so there's a concern about them getting from A to B safely.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I was going to bring that up. Because of the late night use, and I'm filling in for Catherine, she's on a honeymoon, coming back. Because of late night uses, normally with the warehouse type industrial uses, we're not that worried. But because right now, would it be peaking right now, the facility, this time of day? It'd be dark, I think. If there's any, there should be a condition that they have to supply either evidence of lighting that meets the code or some wall pack lighting in the general area.
That's what I was thinking of, by the sidewalk, so people could see and not hurt themselves.
Also the parking lot.
Yes, I agree with that because of the fact that we are changing
You have a
to a
winter.
public type use.
Yeah, so I think that,
If I may,
There's one over the
I
overhead.
can see this,
There's one
I
on the
see
over-
this.
You
That's
can't-
on your
you
side,
can't
talking
figure
about
out-
walking from the other side of the building to this side of the building in front. Are there any lights in front of that building there?
are all the units lit in the same way as Unit 5?
the problem with his testimony on lighting, he's not a lighting
Yeah.
expert.
Right.
He couldn't address, normally it's a 0.5-foot candle minimum, you try to get average spread.
I would simply state that if the lighting, whether it exists along that sidewalk or not, it would need to meet, I imagine, the city's code for minimum foot candle illumination, whether it be half a foot candle, 1 foot candle. I think the applicant would be agreeable that if there isn't sufficient lighting to add wall backs.
For the parking area, correct?
From the one side to the other side of the
But the
building?
problem also arises, two problems.
Right.
Yes.
First is the parking lot doesn't have, most likely does not have sufficient lighting, first off. The second is there's no interconnectivity between the parking lots because they're separated by a detention basin.
Yes.
And there's no sidewalk being shown on Saturday.
No, it's,
No,
if you-
there
there's a
is a
sidewalk in
sidewalk.
front of the building, I can see where he's talking about.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
That's where I want the lights.
So that could be a bollard lit, that could be low bollards for the sidewalk and wall packs for the parking lot. Normally, we don't like wall packs because sometimes they have more glare, but since there's no residential uses in the area, they're less expensive and they're efficient. And they keep the cost down for this applicant. As
I just
opposed-
don't want anybody getting hurt,
No.
especially if you're gonna have, I don't know if there's gonna be kids leaving, because it gets dark at 4:30, kids leaving to go back to the cars.
Backing up of cars
That's why
is
it's more-
a big issue.
Yeah.
That's why it's more important to me in the parking lot. I
Right.
don't feel there's sufficient adequate lighting for the parking lot for the traffic that will incur with, with players being there, especially younger kids, they'll be coming in after school. It does get dark early now, so I feel like the parking lot should be a little bit more illuminated.
I would let the board defer to their professionals. Is there a standard that you'll be looking to have us meet in terms of illumination levels, half a foot candle, 1 foot candle,
for lighting?
some sort of? I don't know. I haven't checked the municipal zoning code if there's a standard set already.
I know the half-foot candle is the pretty standard.
Right.
And whether it's specific, I don't believe it is specific.
Okay.
Normally, you want to have lighting over the entranceway,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to have an average half-foot candle across the parking lot.
So they have the lighting over the entranceway, that they have.
Right, and then you want half a foot candle over the parking.
There is somebody here, the Realtor, that knows about the lighting around the building. If I may just call her to answer your question.
Yeah.
Before you do, just please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Yi Huang. My address is 94 Grant Avenue, New Providence, New Jersey. I'm the realtor representing the NJTVCS. And then I took them multiple times to see the building. And then there are motion sensor lights surrounding the buildings, especially by facing the parking lot and also by the entrance of each of the tenants' spaces.
So looking at this picture, you say there's motion sensor lighting along the wall?
They are, I remember there are definitely a lot of lightings, facing the parking lot, and also there might be lightings from the street lights as well. It's I didn't experience any difficulties walking on the path with my bike.
The reason why these would not be lit right now is because they're motion sensitive, is that right? So when you walk by, the lights go on, but otherwise it would be reflecting like as if there's no light.
Does each tenant can turn off the lights in their parking lot? Yes. Yeah, yeah. Ask you,
Who's,
who you want to ask? The engineer?
I don't know, though. Is the building owner available? But the question that I have is who's controlling these lights? You know, can each tenant turn off the lights for the lot that's in front of their space? You know, these are questions I think that are really important, because if there's a lot in front of tenant 3 and he doesn't want to pay for the electric and he turns off the parking lot light at night, who's controlling these lights? And I think we really need a lighting plan to explain how this is being addressed. I don't know if you're the right person to testify to this.
I don't know that. I don't have access to other tenants' utility bill.
I agree. I think that we should just condition that a lighting plan be provided to the
per the engineer.
To the engineer and approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we were just discussing is they'll go out there and do a lighting study. If it's deficient, then they will add the necessary lighting.
I'm more worried about that front, I mean, they're worried about the parking lot, but I can understand that there's lights. I'm more worried about that sidewalk, because it's an industrial use. Who would light the sidewalk at night? There'd be no reason to. So going from one side to the other side of the building, there's probably no light there.
Just for now.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody in the public who has a question for the Realtor? Okay, thank you. More questions for the
Yes.
engineer?
The other question I have is back to Mr. Biebelberg, is this row of parking that you're showing on the adjacent property, people are generally lazy, and what's to stop people from parking over there to go into the tennis club instead of going all the way around the building?
Referring to the Staples property to the north.
Oh, that's...
I don't know who's, I don't know which property is which. The parking
Yes, yes.
on block
That's the back of-
3703, lot
back of the
2.
Staples building, yes.
Right.
Again, I think it just becomes an issue of enforcement. There is sufficient parking on site for the players and the staff to park here.
I would make a suggestion that I would have my applicant, since it's a club, put together a little sheet when and if they get approval to go into this building, that they would give to all their members to tell them about the new facility and the parking and where they're not allowed to park and where they are allowed to park. And, you know, if you want a little directional sign that has an arrow that shows that, you know, the NJTCC is this way to Unit 5, I'm sure that would be something they'd be more than willing to do. They will do anything that you would want them to do to ensure their membership. If this is not, as was the testimony, this is a club that's been around a long time. These are regular members. It's probably rare, and I can call them back up to confirm this, but rare that you get a lot of people off the street that are coming to this club. And so I think we can certainly advise the membership not to park at Tesla, not to park at Staples. This is the new arrangement. Give them a picture of the parking lot and tell them this is where you go.
I'm more worried about the lighting and the safety at the moment.
But we're willing to do any,
Yeah, so as stated by the attorney, we've certainly done our fair share of lighting studies to confirm lighting compliance. We would have one performed at night. We would provide the results of that to the board's professionals for review. If it's deemed insufficient in terms of pedestrian circulation, in terms of illumination levels, the applicant will add the necessary lights to satisfy the board's engineer.
Okay.
I'm agreeable to that, yeah, as long as,
Yeah.
You guys comfortable with that as well?
It also helps the owner.
Right, yeah.
Slip and falls
Yeah.
with low lighting is nothing but trouble.
Yeah. Plus you have children, so, yeah. Any other questions for the planner or the engineer? Anybody from the public have any questions for this witness? Okay, thank you. Unless you have to, closing before I open to the public.
oh, I just was going to close after you had heard anything.
Okay. Does anybody from the public have anything to say?
Raise your right hand.
You can hold, just hold it, that's fine.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and your address.
Robert Chironna, Chironna, 20 Bell Drive, Westfield, New Jersey, 07090.
Thank you.
I just wanted to support the application and possibly give you a little more background of how we operate, and that you may have some questions that still I can answer about that. I'm the director of the Tuesday Night League. I've been a member for about 27 years, and been director of the Tuesday Night League for about 8 or 9 years. Right now we have 15 league members for this season. We've had 24, I think in the last 8 or 9 years since I've been operating it, up to 24 members. And we typically use, at max, 6 tables for our league. People come in around 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and then we start at 8 o'clock and end usually between 10:15. We have multiple 3-person teams, and mostly we have singles matches, 1 doubles match for each set of 2 teams that are playing against each other for that evening. That's, most of our members are long time. They're members of in our league who have been there much longer than I have been, and once in a while we get a new member in, which we'd like to do, because of course you always lose members as time goes on. But generally speaking, it's the league runs with consistent membership. We even being in the center of Westfield, we rarely get somebody walking into the club, and I'm sure in this location that would be even rarer.
My question to you is, when you're running your league on Tuesday nights, is there any other play from anybody else, or is it just your league at that time?
Yeah, once in a while there might be a member come in to practice on one of the other tables.
But it's not many.
No. I mean, let's say if we fill up at max the 6 tables with 24 players, which we haven't had for a couple of years, but there might be another couple of, maybe 4 other people that might drop by, members that want to practice that night because they're in the Monday league or the Thursday league or something like that. And to be honest, I mean, our members are mature adults. If you want to put it that way. We have not too many younger members at this time in the league, and so we're pretty friendly, quiet group.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have any? Sure, come on up.
Excuse me, my name is Daniel Gutman. My address is 16 Trails End Court in Westfield.
I'm sorry, could you just spell the last name?
Gutman, Guttman.
Thank you, and please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
I do. Okay, I just want to briefly affirm everything that Bob Chironna has said. I've been a member of the Westfield Table Tennis Club for 20 years. I'd just like to paint the big picture for you. This would be an extremely prestigious decision for Springfield to make. The New Jersey Table Tennis Club, as we said earlier, has been around for over 80 years and about 45 years in Westfield alone. We hold the New Jersey State Table Tennis Championship. We have a trophy that dates back to the early 1930s with those winners emblazoned on it. It would be a very, very good thing for Springfield to have in your township on many levels. Table tennis is, as I've termed it, the best known unknown sport in the country, meaning to say everybody here has played ping pong, but relatively few people have played table tennis at a high level and have experienced it as an exciting cardiovascular sport that somebody can have Olympic aspirations toward. In our club, we've had some of the best players in the country. One of our former members, David Zhuang, is a 6-time U.S. champion. Another member was a 3-time Olympian, and we have some of the top juniors in the country as well, currently. So we will do everything we can to further this application. As was reiterated earlier, we'll accommodate you in terms of lighting, anything else that's practicable. I'm sure that we'll do. And the coach has done a phenomenal job in setting up a coaching operation, not only for children, but for adults as well. So we appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to having this club in Springfield in a not-too-distant future. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your
My name
last
is
name.
John Trema, Jarema. I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey, and I want to thank you for welcoming us to Springfield, such a lovely town. I've been playing table tennis for over 40 years, and mostly in Westfield and other places around the city, the state, and the country. Table tennis is the most unique table tennis sport there is. It invites everybody in. Doesn't matter how good you are, how bad you are, how big you are, or how small you are, or even you're blind, paramedics, special needs. We invite everybody to play. Everybody can play. Somebody not as well, somebody better. Coach Lee can play Coach Al can play very good. Others not that well. We wish to welcome us to your fine neighborhood, your fine town. We've been staying in Westfield now for over 40 years, almost approaching 50 years, and we've been good neighbors. We have a good owner, but he has other plans for that area. We've been around over 90 years, our club there. And we are our Olympic sport. Table tennis is an Olympic sport. It's the #2 sport in the world after soccer. But soccer doesn't invite everybody. We do. From all over the country, we have players coming here and playing in Westfield, in New Jersey, in the U.S. We have players coming to our club from China, Russia, all around the world. And we want to share that, not only here, but also in Springfield as well. And we want you to welcome us with open hands. It's hard to find a place that's that big, that's accommodating. We looked many places, and we think this is a great spot to be in. And we hope that you accept us as much as we have accepted everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do we have anybody else who would like to speak? Oh. Okay, close the public testimony. Yes.
Really, I didn't even expect as many people from the public to come in support of this application. I'm very appreciative for all the kind words that were stated about my application, the applicant, and I do believe that the professional's testimony has shown that this use variance that we're requesting will work well within this building, within this zone, and that we will be able to accommodate the amount of people that are expected based on the parking that is available both on-site and off-site. And we have already indicated that when it comes to the lighting, we want it to be safe as well. So the applicant is willing to have the engineer do the lighting, have the lighting evaluation, and then we'll work with the professionals of the township to ensure that it's satisfactory for safety reasons. Other than that, we've shown from a planning perspective, we've met the negative and positive criteria. This would be advancing the municipal land use zoning laws. And that having been said, we just hope that the board will be willing to grant the preliminary and final site plan approval with the variances requested. Mr. Bergen and I had an earlier conversation. We don't technically have to waive resolution, but it's always been asked of me whether you want to do that. We would like to do that so they could start at their own risk putting whatever lighting would be necessary before the memorialized resolution comes down the pipe, so that everything will be ready when they have to move out of their given facility. And that having been said, the signage, as we stated, would meet the code, would meet the ordinances, so there wouldn't be any reason for a variance for that. Oh, one other thing, I'm sorry, about when we talk about signage, I did research the ordinance with regard to signage, and I don't know whether the board would want this in the resolution or not, but because there's a tournament on Sundays, we wondered whether it would be acceptable to the board. They have their normal signs that would be there, but if there's a tournament, people may not be familiar with the location, that they could have a little perhaps sign that goes in and comes out on that same day. It just shows NJTTC 20.
Yeah, I mean, temporary.
Yeah, I mean, it would only be there for the day of the tournament.
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with that. Does anybody else have anything to say? Okay, so I'd like to ask for an approval for application, hold on, there we go, 2019-20, NJTBSC LLC. NJT. BSC LLC, 10 Fathom Road, Block 3703, Lot 3, preliminary and final site plan use variance and bulk variances with a couple conditions. The first condition is that the lighting plan be done and approved by the township engineer, make sure that it comes to code, and that we limit the tournaments to just Sundays. Problem with that? You're good with that?
Well, to clarify that, yes, we do have a once a month tournament, but the state championship that runs in May is 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, once a year.
But it's only on weekends.
Could we limit it to weekends?
So we'll make that weekends instead of Sundays. Okay, so
I move to approve with those previously stated
And,
conditions.
sorry, just one more, and the condition that that the membership be distributed with some sort of pamphlet regarding what parking should be.
More than happy
Yes.
to do so.
Great.
Move to approve with the previously stated conditions.
I second.
Mr. Laufer?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Hochstein?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
And Chairman Roth?
yes.
Motion passes.
So you'd like to waive
Yes.
approval of resolution?
Now, would that resolution be ready on the November 13th meeting or the special meeting?
November.
Thank you, support.
Welcome to Springfield, guys. Well,
Good luck.
good luck.
Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Great, thank you.
What day is the special?
We got the application like last week, like. Ms. Sorrell. There's an unusual board meeting. Application, we throw it on.
Board of Adjustment meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along, right?